Hey, what's up, everyone? Ace of Spades here, back with another Overwatch tank review guide. So, Mauga was released over the weekend for, what was it, 3 days? So we had a chance to get our hands on him, play a couple games, learn some new techs for how to do his little shift and stuff. So in this video, we're going to go ahead and talk about general like play style, go over the abilities, what you should look out for, how to win the duel matchups and whatnot. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and talk about everything you pretty much need to know about Mauga to become top 10, in the ranked games. Eventually, when he does release in the season 8, who knows, maybe he might get changed a little bit by then. But we'll see. But going over his main abilities, so his left click, Gatling gun, sets people on fire. And the reason why this is important is when you set people on fire for his passive, every time you crit somebody that is on fire, you get a little bit of the overhealth, as you can see in the green bar down below during his health. Then it does deteriorate after it is used. So, you always want to be doing that in the middle of a fight, and, it could be a lifesaver for you. But the next thing is with his right click auto crits on anybody that is on fire. So when you set somebody on fire, that's when you want to swap to the right click, and it just gives you an auto crit no matter what. You can shoot him in the belly, you can shoot him in the toes, so you don't have to worry about trying to focus hitting in the headshot radius. Is still nice to hit the headshots, but you don't have to hit the headshots when you are on the right click. You still get the overhealth no matter what.
I could make this a habit.
So that's just something to keep aware of. So every time in like a neutral fight, just gets it on fire, swap to the right click, and there you go. So his shift gives him a little speed boost. You can cancel it at the end there if you don't want to do the actual ground slam, but if you do want to do the slam, you can stop it whenever you want by hitting left click, and you get your little slam damage. If you hit on top of somebody, then it knocks them on the ground, kind of like Earth Shatter stun. So you have a little mini stun ability there, which is kind of nice. You also are invulnerable while you are charging, but it takes like a second to wind up. So right when you press it, I thought, I've been slept a couple times and been shattered. Right when I press it, I was like, what the heck? Like, what's going on? So I don't know if that is something that they're going to change about him, but when you do press it, it does take a second for you to actually become invulnerable. And then after that, you can't get slept, stunned, any of that stuff. But there is that brief window when you do press the ability that you'll get stunned, so just be aware of that in the current Mauga build, I guess, that they have right now for him. But it is a good engage tool. It is a good disengage if you do find yourself getting antied. If you're in a Mei ulti, as long as you press your shift before you can get out of it, if Sigma looks to flux you, as long as it starts at the beginning and you press shift, and you can get out of it. Same with if Mauga tries to detain you with his ultimate, as long as you had shift going up prior, then you can just run out of it. So any of those like interactions work with getting out. So as long as you are paying attention, you can, dodge those type of abilities. So now going back to his left and right click, now they're over at this training range, you can press both at the same time and you do tons of damage. But you are at risk of the recoil, but the spread being like super crazy. So as you can see, at 20 meters, you're barely hitting like, any bullets, and it's taken forever, rather than if you just went left click, So if you're within like 10 to 15 meters, I find that doing the double click is, there's no reason not to. It's the same speed. So 0 to 15-ish, just double click the whole time. Once you start getting to 20 plus, then you just want to do left click to throw on fire, then swap to right click, and that pretty much goes to for however far you want to do it. Yeah, so just keep that in mind. That's how you want to use his gun abilities. For his E is a damage reduction, as well as giving life steal to any damage that you do while the duration is going on, and that goes for you and your allies, for anybody in that radius. So You want to make sure you want to pop that not in the beginning of a fight. You want to do it kind of like in mid-fight, when people have actually taken damage. You don't want to just use your abilities right off the bat, because that's how they kite out and re-engage, and then you're left out to try to die. So you always want to use that in the middle, and it does stack with getting you over health. So that's pretty much like how Maugas are so tanky and unkillable when they are in their E, unless they get antied. Sad days. So yeah, so when you press your E, you do get your over health, and you also do get the life steal. So how you'd want to pretty much play around using your E is that at the beginning of fights, take the damage or whatever, and then you want to try and use your E when you want to try and look for a hard engage and you're, you know, down towards like half health or something. But in a Mauga 1v1 mirror whatever match, you want to try and use your ability second, because if you use it first, then you're just going to either they're going to just use their second and then they're going to have the life steal a little bit longer than you, or they're just going to, you know, dodge a corner real quick and then come out and win the matchup. So you always want to try and use it second, try and count, or wait a little bit to see if how much bullets he's used, because the way how you kill Maugas, how I found, is a lot of them just press E and then they start, you know, running at you. So if you can like disengage and not use yours and just trust your healers, then you just come out when he's halfway through his clip, and then you press your E, double right, you know, left right click, and then you'll shred him. And then when he has to reload is when he's not going to get any life steal, and that's pretty much like your opportunity to kill him. So both Maugas are going to be looking for those opportunities that, you know, when you have to reload or when you don't have your E available to give you that extra life steal. Let's see what other abilities to go over. His ultimates. So his ultimate, if anybody is close to you, they'll get chained inside this dome, and you are chained as well, so you can't leave the barrier. Enemies can walk into your barrier, but then they'll get automatically chained. They can't leave. Your allies can freely move in and out while that is going on. There is some funny text with his ultimate where, you know, you can drop it off a ledge on like well, and it'll pull the people, you know, into the pit. So, you know, you can keep that in mind as something funny to do. I wouldn't say it's very viable to do all the time, but you can use it for those abilities. He is also, you have an unlimited ammo when you're in your ultimate. So if you want to try and min-max the amount of damage that you are doing, so if you're in a battle of, you know, Maugas, what you get to low ammo, then you're just going to pop your ulti, and then you have infinite ammo, and that just kind of like min-maxes the amount. But you don't want to let your ammo get to 0 before ulting, as you know, I'll show you real quick, because then you'll be stuck in the reload animation, which kind of sucks. So it's like if you do it all 0 and you're like, oh dude, I'm gonna pop my ulti, then you're stuck here in this reload animation and you're kind of done for, and you just wasted a good couple seconds in that. So just be aware of that, you know, if you get down to the 0 ammo, you're gonna have to reload if you do pop your ult. So you just want to try and make sure you have at least 1 bullet in the clip when you do that. Not sure if they're going to change that, because I know Soldier, you can do it all and then prop Q. So there's a couple of the weird interactions that might get changed by the time he gets fully released on next season. But for now, you know, just be aware of that. Yeah, let's see. Is there any other little techs? For the shift, went over that. You can just stop it whenever you want by doing this ground slam. If you want to get as far as you can, and then you can just cancel it at the end, and then you do that little jump. As long as you press shift, it does the cancel, and you can cancel whenever you want. It just doesn't do the jump unless you do it at the very last little second when you're about to do the ground pound, and that just saves you a little bit of time in case you miss the jump pound on somebody and you just want to be able to shoot them without having to go into the full, you know, second long animation of the slam. That's just something to think about when you are playing the Maugas. So let's see what else to talk about. We went over the abilities. Went over the passive. Counters for Mauga. Pretty much anybody that you are going to counter with Hog is Mauga's arch nemesis as well. So Ana, Bastion, Sigma, Zen, pretty much like any of those are pretty much anti-fun. You're not having fun on Mauga, but if they don't have those, then you're good to go and having a grand old time. So very fun to play, but very easily counterable and hard to play around that once you do face those enemies. So it's not really much you can kind of do to outplay that. You just kind of have to play corners as much as possible. If you get antied, then use your shift to disengage. Wait for it to be go away and then, you know, re-engage. That's kind of the only way you can play around that play style. Mauga does want to try and engage fast when he does have his abilities. So you want to try and do that like hard, fast engage play style, but against those characters, it is kind of tough. So yeah, don't want to play against those, and yeah, you're just not gonna have a fun time. One thing also to look out for when you are ulting, it pretty much like hinders for, you know, all said and done, whatever purpose. It hinders the people, so you can't use movement abilities when you're inside the dome. So Reaper can't Wraith, Curie can't TP, but you can Life Weaver can pull people out of your ultimate, so just be aware that he can do that. Symmetra can TP out of your ultimate, I believe. So just be, if you try and 1v1 those characters, they can use those abilities to get out. Yeah, while Life Weaver pretty much makes tanks, all tank ults not fun. So that doesn't change very much for us. But yeah, so went over the counters, went over those tips. I will be having, I'm not going to go over it in this video, but we'll have a video out soon about all the jump techs, about where you can go from like platform to platform on a lot of the high grounds on maps like Gibraltar first, you know, from first attacker to bridge. There's rollouts and stuff that you can make it to those high grounds and go from a bunch of different maps like that. That it was pretty helpful for Mauga, since he doesn't have those high ground capabilities, but as long as you are on like somewhat of a certain ledge, you can use map geometry to actually get your way up there in your sprint. So yeah, we'll come out with that soon. But other than that, for his jump, opposed to like other character abilities, you can press your spacebar in the middle of the air, so that lets you get to, you know, ledges that, you know, you might not have gotten to before. So that's just, you know, one quick thing to think about. But we'll go into, you know, all of those jump spots in a later video. So this one can just be everything you need to know fast and be good to go. So I think that about wraps up everything you need to know. Hope it was helpful for you guys. Went over all the abilities, counters, all the type of stuff. If you liked it, let me know in the comments, you know, what you wanted different in this video, what things I may have missed. We can go back over it again. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the YouTubes, and yeah, till next video.